Williams. So he started off the game firing on all cylinders, wasn't able to sustain the success. After completing 13 of his 16 passes in the first half, Williams finished the game with an NFL worst off-target rate of 29% in week 1. Canty, encouraged or discouraged by Caleb after what you saw last night?
I think you have to be encouraged, even though there are some things that he certainly needs to improve on. You saw some of the movement skills that we got at USC and at Oklahoma on display.
Yeah.
That dart that he threw to Rome Odunze, he's rolling out to his right down the sideline.
In
the red zone.
Bullet.
Let me tell you something, Molly. There's only a handful of quarterbacks that can make that throw. That's special. Right,
Yes.
the touchdown
Yes.
run, the ability to be able to manipulate the pocket early on. I thought he was great in that regard. He needs to be more consistent in terms of trusting what he sees, Stephen A. There are some wide open receivers that he missed down the field. There were some shots. I'm thinking of the skinny post to Romo Dunze in the second quarter.
Yeah.
You got to hit that throw. It's wide open. And Ben Johnson spoke to it in the post-game press conference, saying that there were some plays that they had dialed up where there should have been completions and it just didn't happen for the offense. So that's the good. So there's a lot of positives to build on. Here's the bad, Molly. The plays that Caleb Williams has when he doesn't understand when the journey is over, when the play is over, become problematic.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the intentional grounding that he got at the end of the third quarter that led to a Cairo Santos missed field goal.
Yeah.
Those types of things can't happen. Caleb Williams has got to be better in terms of trying to play within structure and hitting his back foot and getting the ball out on time. Well, we saw that when he was on script through the first 15 in the first quarter. When he got off script, things went off the rails.
I'm going to go with encourage as the answer to this question, but I also want to show the word compassion, I think, is appropriate. This dude is in his second year. Played all 17 games last year. Last night he scored his first rushing touchdown of his career. Played all 17 games last year, opener last night. His second year in the league. This is his third head coach. And his fourth offensive coordinator.
That's crazy.
I mean, come on. Crazy. You know what I'm saying? We got to look at it from that standpoint, too. And then last but not least, here's what we got to take into consideration. I know he only completed after going 6 for 6 to start the game or whatever. He completed 11 to 25 passes, only 44% of his passes the rest of the way. That was a Brian Flores defense.
That's right. And they started rushing. They started rushing. 7 men on the line of scrimmage.
And you got one of the elite defensive minds, because that's what Brian Flores is.
Absolutely.
That can confuse you a bit and throw some stuff at you that you may not have seen before. And not only that, Brian Flores was coaching against Ben Johnson last year.
Right.
So he's very familiar with who he's going up against. And now instead of Jared Goff, you got Caleb Williams behind center with not the same kind of weapons. Even though Chicago's got some weapons, they don't have Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown along with Gibbs and along with Laporta. I mean, you don't have those kind of weapons. So you got Ben Johnson, who you kind of know what he wants to do. And you got a squad in terms of personnel that's inferior to what you had to coach against before.
Why are you making that face? Because it sounds like excuses, or are you buying it?
No, I'm buying what Stephen A. is saying, but I wish he'd taken it a step further, because he's going someplace that I think we need to talk about a little bit today.
Which is?
Nobody is talking about how Ben Johnson, sliding over from coordinator to head coach, had some growing pains last night. Nobody's talking about that now. Because Ben Johnson, we thought he had it all figured out in the first quarter when they were on script through the first 15. But what he didn't realize was Brian Flores was playing chess, not checkers.
That's right.
Okay?
In the long game.
Exactly. Because in the first quarter, guess what? Brian Flores only sent one blitz toward Caleb Williams on all those dropbacks. One blitz. In the remainder of the game, Brian Flores blitzed him 14 times.
That's right.
The blitz rate went from 29% to 44% from the first half to the second half. And Ben Johnson did not have a counterpunch to the adjustments that B-Flow made. And then also, another thing, the gaffe at the end of the game with Cairo Santos kicking the ball in the end zone and letting them return it and not getting a 2-minute warning as a timeout.
That's right.
You got to kick the damn ball out of bounds. That's on the head coach. So there are some things that Ben Johnson left to be desired. I know a lot of the focus will be on Caleb Williams, but Ben Johnson needs to have some heat up under his seat right now, too.
For sure. So, some of that I'll agree with. I'll say this, though. There were answers, and Caleb missed some throws to some wide open receivers against the blitz, right? The wide open, you got to hit that for a touchdown in the fourth quarter. You got a guy screaming down the sideline. The hookup right before it in the middle of the field. So there were answers. He got guys open. The difference, I think, from Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams versus McCarthy and O'Connell is this. they've only got about 5 or 6 months together. He has to untrain, to Stephen A's point, a year plus of organizational failure from the Bears to what he did as a quarterback. So all those habits, you and I both know, those habits are hard to break. And when things start to go chaotic, you tend to fall back to those. I think that's where Ben Johnson and the development that he'll have for Caleb Williams will put him in that same category, because we've seen him do it with Jared Goff. But it does take time. And again, Minnesota ran the ball much better than Chicago did in the second half. There were a lot of things that helped the quarterback look better, but Caleb missed some of the throws that I think Ben did have some stuff open. He's got to make, like, those are the ones that you'll go back to film and go, hey, as a QB, you make those, and as a head coach, I won't do those things, right? So both and.
I appreciate the insight, and both of y'all know. But here's the thing. Like, I'm looking at this here. Declan Doyle, is that his name?
Yeah.
I mean, who the hell is this guy? That's your offensive coordinator, right? Yeah. First-time offensive coordinator. He's a tight ends coach in Denver over the last 2 years. So you got a first-time coordinator, okay? You got a first-time head coach, okay? It's your fourth head coach in a season and a game, because it ain't even 2 full seasons. A season and a game, 18 games.
That's right.
4 offensive coordinators and 3 head coaches. That's a lot.
Absolutely.
For a young quarterback to deal with, which is why I would go back to Ben Johnson as well, because knowing what I just highlighted, it's even more of the onus on Ben Johnson, because you know what the kid is dealing with.
And Stephen A., when he took the job, Ben Johnson said the first thing that he needed to do was make sure that the quarterback and the play caller saw the game through the same eyes. Right. That's the first thing that he said. So when we start talking about Caleb,
coordinator or the quarterback and the coordinator.
No, the quarterback and the play caller.
Got it.
Right.
The play caller see the game through the same eyes. Right. And so when we start talking about all of these open receivers that Caleb Williams missed, and I admit it, he missed some open receivers. That's also on the coach. Right. Like, he's got to help he's got to help those guys. And all of that being said, Stephen A., with everything stacked up against Caleb Williams, you still had a double-digit lead at home against the division opponent in the fourth quarter, going up against a quarterback who had never started an NFL game before. You got to find a way to be able to win that game.
Yeah.
Which is about your defense, because Dennis Allen, a former defensive coordinator, a former head coach who's now back to being the defensive coordinator. You got to find a way to get at McCarthy and shut that, because he's a rookie. That's what he is. You got to find a way to shut him down and prevent him, especially with Jordan Addison not being out there. You got to be able to pull that off.
Caleb Williams, I will say this about him as well. After they were down, him taking it down and scoring was a big deal. Like, he responded as well. Again, he's not in charge of special teams, what happens afterwards, but he did give his team a chance, right? He scores. Now they're down by 3. You hold them. You get a chance to go tie the game, possibly win the game. Unfortunately, don't work out that way, but I like the response by Caleb Williams.
Let's see how he responds week 2, Detroit Lions. That one's at 1 Eastern. Ben Johnson against his former team. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I mean, if there's ever been a must-win for both teams.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What it feels like.
Exactly.
What it feels like.
This is personal.
Let's stay in the NFC. I got a quick take for you guys. The 49ers